The courts are continuing the spate of extremely harsh sentencing today for those involved in the riots. Now, some of the reports on sentencing seem a bit excessive to say the least to me. Bear in mind Keir Starmer said there was no space in prison and then let lots of actual criminals go early to make space for the rioters. We here have a 61-year-old man who's been jailed for shouting, "Who the F is Allah?" Now, I'm a religious Christian myself, so I can certainly see this as disrespectful, but saying "who the F is Allah," calling officers the C word and yelling at them "you're not English anymore" and getting 18 months for that seems a bit excessive to me. There's also been the bizarre story of a man who wasn't even involved in the riots but simply shared quote-unquote offensive Facebook posts. Now, the posts in question feature a group of men, Asian in appearance, at a supposed future crab fair with the caption "coming to a town near you." The second example was another group of men of Asian appearance leaving a boat on Whitehaven Beach saying, "when it's on your turf, then what?" Okay, these are a bit edgy, a bit controversial, but hardly worthy of a prison sentence. However, the final image must be a real humdinger, eh? Well, it turns out the final image just shows a group of men, Asian in appearance, wielding knives in front of the Palace of Westminster. There was a crying white child in a Union flag t-shirt. This was also captioned with the words "coming to a town near you." Now, you could say these are edgy or stupid or whatever, but are they as bad as what the Labour councillor said when he called for people to cut people's throats? Now, this fella has been arrested, but remember, that's only because right-wing figures online called out their hypocrisy. But where's the 24-hour law court for him? There's been no news on him in the past few days. Is what, he just getting off scot-free? And then you have clips like this circulating online, which are reportedly from the riots, although that's not confirmed, where counter-protesters are saying they want to kill people in front of the police.
If you want to fuck with us, you fucking with the dogs! Yeah! We're ready to kill you all!
Then we have Labour MP Clive Lewis calling for people to quote-unquote fight the fascists, which is then led on with a chant from some leftists.
Fight the fascists!
Now remember, to them, a fascist is anybody who's critical of mass immigration. And then you have bizarre clips like this, which show the media class is also on board with this two-tier approach.
I'm black, and I was in the Black Lives Matter protest, and I would say that a lot of the behaviours that I saw in the protests, and we're calling them protests, are not that different to the behaviour that we're seeing in riots. And granted, there are some very, very extreme people that were there who behaved in ways that we can all condemn. I think it's very unfair to suggest that the majority of the...
Sorry, Chantal, I'm struggling with your comparison of the Black Lives Matter demonstrations and protests were like the riots, but they weren't. There were no riots.
Notice how he's setting up a straw man. She didn't say that. She said some of the behaviour was similar.
The behaviours in which people are being, most strongly reprimanded for and arrested for, they're not that different. It all comes down to semantics a lot of the time. And I think
rioting is the same as protesting, is what you're kind of saying, which I don't think it is.
Again, not what she said at all.
Saying that people that are protesting are being called rioters and people that are rioting have often been called
rioters are called rioters.
Now, this is just the liberal elite taking full control of the narrative. When it comes to the recent riots, there wasn't one person there who was protesting. Every single one of them was far right and evil. Yet when it comes to the BLM protests, that was squeaky clean, no problems at all, and you can't make any comparisons with regards to the behaviour of people on the streets. And as I have to keep saying, because of Starmer Stasi, I'm not pro the riots, I'm not pro violence, I'm not pro attacking anybody, I'm not pro destroying private property. But what I am concerned about is the obvious hypocrisy that seems to be on display in modern Britain, which signals we're in very worrying times. These are just my thoughts, however. Do let me know what you think down below, and do consider subscribing to the channel.